Hey guys, shalom, shalom. It's Jen from the Ezekiel Effect again. I just wanted to do like a little follow-up from the last video. This is part 2 of breaking free from the idolatry of comfort. And there was a whole little segment I meant to talk about in the last video, and then I totally got off on another track, but it's okay. That's the beauty of having more videos available. So what I wanted to talk about, we had started talking about worldly comforts. And I just wanted to share a little story about when I have been down to Haiti twice. I was on 2 mission trips, maybe about 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, the first time, something like that. Maybe it was like 10 years and 8 years. I don't remember. But anyway, it was before all the political unrest that was going on. When I was there, though, the very first time, we went down and we were ministering to kids who were at a school. And basically we had to walk up this huge mountain every day. And, you know, as you've probably seen in pictures, or if you've been to Haiti, you know they live literally in shacks. Some of them don't even have shacks, but they're not even tents. I mean, it's like maybe a 3-sided or a 4-sided shack with like a tarp. It might be made out of metal, but you know, it's really hot down there, of course. And they have absolutely nothing. You know, where we were, it was like in a suburb of Port-au-Prince, probably like an hour from that main city, which is the capital and where the airport is. And so we were out in a little more of a suburban area, if you will, rural area. But anyway, it just broke my heart. I had never seen anything like that before. That was my first time to a developing country. And I remember it was November or something like that. My kids were little at the time. They were like maybe, I don't know, 5 and 7, something like that. And I remember sending pictures. And when I got home, you know, I was talking to my family about, you know, the joy that these people had in spite of their living circumstances. And my kids couldn't believe it. I mean, their dad was talking to them about, they were like, you guys, look at this little shack that these people live in. It's the size of our family room. And our kids were just, you know, their eyes were wide with amazement, like, wow, this is where they live. And it just was really eye-opening, and it was shocking, and it was just heartbreaking. And I remember one day we did a feeding program. It was like on a Saturday, and they do that once a week. And so literally people would walk, you know, miles to get to the school so they could get some rice and beans. And we were feeding them and serving the food. And I just remember I was going down the hill afterwards. I was just sobbing my eyes out. I had never seen anything like that before. And I just felt very convicted on that whole trip. I remember it was before Christmas, and I was just talking to God, and I was like, gosh, I was like, Lord, we have so much in our country. We are so spoiled. That's the way I felt. I felt like, you know, I did not want to even have like a Christmas the way we normally did. I didn't want to have gifts. I was like, we don't need anything. I mean, I felt bad for my kids, you know, thinking that. But as an adult, I was like, I don't need anything. We don't need anything. You know, these people have absolutely nothing, and they're struggling to make ends meet, and they have all this joy. And yet here we are complaining about things, you know, when we don't have a toothbrush or something, or, you know, we don't have the right shoes, or, you know, we don't have the right car, or whatever the deal is. But when we're slighted somehow, you know, and I'm not saying I'm not guilty of these things, because we've all done it. And I just felt so convicted in my heart that I was going to be more intentional about the way I spent my money, and about the way I was serving people, and just the way I was going to be living my life. And it, you know, it was a very, very powerful experience. And I think, you know, it really hit home for my kids, you know. So I just wanted to share that. And, you know, that experience also was what led us to adopt our two kids, Jackson and Eve. So we have 4 kids total. But we ended up adopting them because I had gone down to Haiti and again, just felt a powerful move of God just saying, you know, I want you to take care of orphans. And in James, one of my favorite verses is from James 1:27, and it talks about taking care of widows and orphans. And so that's always been like one of my favorite verses, because the Lord does call us to take care of people. And I'm not saying it's for everybody. I'm not saying everybody should adopt a child, but honestly, if everybody did, the world would have no orphans, you know? So if the Lord does lead you to, if you pray about it, or even just being a foster parent, you know, if the Lord leads you to do something like that, it could really make a difference. I have a whole testimony just about the adoption journey I've already put on here, but I also have just, you know, I have lots of stories about what it's like to be a parent of adopted kids. And so it's, you know, we just have an easy life compared to what a lot of people have gone through. I just would end by saying that. And I have a lot of gratitude every day that I live in a place where there's electricity. Yeah, I forgot to say that. I mean, think about being in an environment, if anybody's been to the Caribbean, it's, you know, 80 some degrees, 90 some degrees, humid. You know, I have curly hair. My hair was like bling, you know, worse than it is now. And smoking hot down there. No air conditioning where we were staying, and we stayed in a decent place, but there was no air conditioning, and they had fans. And the way their system works down there, at least when we were down there back then, was if you were not part of the government or whatever, your power would go off at certain times randomly in the middle of the night. So during the day you might have power, and then certain times of the day or at night you might not have power. So we might be sleeping and maybe the generator or the power would go off at 10 p.m. and we would have no fans. We would have no air movement. We'd have no internet. So we could only use the internet at certain times. And we literally were sweating. So you talk about first, I told you how I'm high maintenance with the sleeping, you know, so here I am trying to sleep. I don't sleep well to begin with at that time in my life. And I'm sweating. I'm sweating, you know, and I'm trying to sleep. And it was really hard to be grateful. I just did a lot of praying, and then I had people snoring next to me, and that's a whole nother story. And the Lord was really testing me. He was really testing me. Like, I am going to get you through this. I am your comforter. You cannot rely on, you know, a sound machine, quiet, perfect air conditioning, or perfectly heated, you know, regulated temperatures. The Lord was just showing me it's okay to get outside your comfort zone, and I'm still going to get through. I survived. I mean, here I am. I survived to tell the story. And the other thing was, the first time we went to Haiti, they did not have any warm water for the shower. So, I mean, it was so hot, it didn't matter. We literally took an ice water bath shower. You know, we had a bucket, and the water would come out of the faucet, and we would soap up, and then we would literally, and we'd shampoo or whatever we did, and we would pour the ice cold water over our body. Now, on some level, it felt good. Don't get me wrong, because it was really hot. But on some level, it was like, oh, it was really shocking. I had never had that before. So those of you who like cold showers to begin with, you know, you might enjoy it. But let's just say it was shocking, and we had to do it really quickly. So the second time I went to Haiti, we stayed in a different facility. It was, I think it might have even been air conditioned. I mean, it was like the Ritz-Carlton compared to where we'd been the first time. So the temperature was regulated. I'm pretty sure there was hot water. It was a little bit more of a convenience, because I think where we stayed that time, it was like a place where adoptive parents would go to meet their adoptive kids. It was through an adoption agency, so it was a little bit nicer. So it didn't really feel like we were living in Haiti. I mean, we kind of felt like we were spoiled. So that was a different experience. But I'll tell you, that first one, yeah, it was interesting. I'll never forget that. So anytime I complain about something with my shower or the air conditioner, you know, just I think about how those people endure that every single day. And I'm very grateful. So anyway, hopefully you found that kind of amusing. I know I do. And I just, I hope you're having a great night, and I bless you. And until next time, shalom, shalom.